nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Okay, I wanted to speak about this situation because I think a lot of people are on to the US of A and what they try and do to other countries to bully them. But this is something that I have been keeping my eye on because I did hear about Uganda and how they found all this gold. All of a sudden, the US wants to cut aid to Uganda and cancels military exercises over anti gay law, right? There was a law in Uganda that they passed that they do not recognize homosexuality and gay marriage and relationship. The United States says because we do over here and you need to do the same. Basically trying to tell a whole another country what to do, even though there are other countries that would have accusations about the US and how they conduct themselves. And do you really think that the United States is really going to listen to that? No. But Uganda has announced that it has and this was a while ago, struck a deposit of 31 million tons of gold ore. It would fetch the country more than 12 trillion, not billion, trillion with a T, dollars. Now, I remember when I heard it and I was like, oh my goodness. I hope that Uganda and leadership can seize this opportunity. I really would not like for this country to fall prey to the United States, China, Russia, or any of these other European nations that are struggling right now. Because you can say what you want to. This bomb is getting bigger, and when it blows, it's going to be just devastation. It's not something that I hope for, it's not something that I look for, but the writing is pretty much clear on the wall. If you really think that the United States would cut aid and sanction Uganda because they really care about LGBT rights, you're insane. There is literally a party over here that are trying to take away those rights here in the United States. So, what makes you think that the United States is just solidified on LGBT rights? Sure, you can believe that if you want to. Now, my question was, is this really about rights or bullying to snatch the gold? Personally, I think they're trying to bully to snatch the gold. Okay, in the article it says the United States on Thursday cut aid to Uganda, imposed visa restrictions, and canceled a regional military exercise in response to Uganda law that imposes harsh penalties on homosexuality. The White House said in a statement the measures were intended to reinforce our support for human rights of all Ugandans, regardless of sexual orientation or gender, as if they give any type of F's about Ugandan people. They don't even like our black asses over here. So what makes you think they care about Ugandan people? Okay. Homosexuality is taboo in most African countries and is illegal in 34, including Uganda, where it has been a crime since British rule. Who says since British rule? Anyway, Uganda's new law signed by not butchering his name, but the president of Uganda in February imposes jail terms of up to life for aggravated homosexuality, which includes homosexuality sex with a minor or while HIV positive. I mean, you have no business messing with underage children or out here spreading HIV. Anyway, widely condemned by donor countries. I can only imagine who they are. The law also criminalized lesbianism for the first time and makes it a crime to help individual engage in homosexual. Oh, so women can be with women. That's okay. That was okay for the time being. Anyway, Western donors include the United States had halted or redirected about 118 million in aid to the East African nation economy before Thursday. The White House said on Thursday the United States would impose visa restrictions on Ugandans it believes have had involvement in human rights violation include gay rights. The United States will halt 2.4 million in funding for Ugandan community policing program in light of the police raid on a U.S. funded health program at the university. That university is Makerere. No way I was going to get that. And reports of people detained and abused while in police custody. That's not okay to be abusing people, but this is not about gay rights at all. In addition, Washington will shift some funding for salaries, travel expenses of Ugandan health ministry employees and non-governmental agency involved in the health plan program. It will also reallocate 3 million in funding for a planned national public health institute in Uganda to another African country which it did not name, which basically will bend the knee and kiss the ring. A National Institute of Health meeting will be moved to from Uganda to South Africa. Of course, the White House said it also canceled plan for a U.S. sponsored military exercise in Uganda that was meant to include other Eastern African countries. A date had not been set for the exercise. Uganda is a key Western ally in the fight against Islamic extremists in Somalia, where Ugandan troops for the backbone of the African Union force battling Al Qaeda militants. U.S. Special Forces have been involved in the hunt for Joseph Kony, a rebel commander seeking to topple the Ugandan government. I guess they're going to not seek him out. Kony is believed to be hiding in the jungles of Central Africa. And I guess they're not going to look for him anymore, as if they were looking. Uganda is a sovereign country and can never bow to anybody or be blackmailed by anybody on a decision it took in its interest, even if it involves threats to cut off financial assistance, the government spokesman said. U.S. President Barack Obama previously told the president the law would complicate relations. Since then, Washington has been reviewing its funding to Uganda while privately pressing the government to repeal the law. So basically, do what we say, or we're not going to give you funding, and we're not going to do X, Y, and Z. We're not going to play nice with you. And I guess the government said, keep your bullshit. We got this. Bye. Now, what really irked me about this and just shows the giant lie of wanting to protect civil rights, just like the ADL, wanting to be for the people and let them live and let them be and let them breathe and have life and liberty, is this situation here. Earlier this month, white representatives in Mississippi House approved a bill to create a new district that includes all of the majority white neighborhood in Jackson, a capital city that is 83% black. This includes creating a criminal justice system for the district, overseen by all white power base. Under House Bill 1020, the white conservative Chief Justice of Mississippi Supreme Court would handpick the new district's two supervising judges. Its prosecutors and public defenders would be chosen by the state's white Republican Attorney General. The zone would be policed by an expanded Capitol Police Force led by the current white police chief and supervised by the state's white public safety commissioner, because all the district's officials would be appointed instead of elected. Jackson's majority black residents would have no voting rights on the matter, making it Mississippi's only jurisdiction where, according to the ACLU, unelected judges and prosecutors have jurisdiction over criminal and civil law matters. 12% of their sale tax would be redirected to help pay for it all. The black folks have to pay for being ruled over by a majority white attorney, chief of police, everything picked by a majority white led district. That is insane to me. Now, it's oppressive because it strips the rights from black folks to vote, per the mayor. After the bill cleared the House, it's oppressive. It's oppressive because it puts a military force over people that have no accountability to them. It oppresses because there will be judges who will determine sentences over people's lives. It's oppressive because it redirects their tax dollars to something they didn't endorse or believe in. Their tax dollars is going to go into funding something they have no vote or no control or no say in. Um, okay. But we're over here talking about Israelis' rights and the ADL championing civil rights, and we're telling Uganda what they need to do. And this is what they're doing right now. State Rep Trey Lamar, the white Republican who sponsored the bill, lives in and represents a majority white district more than 2 hours away from Jackson. He holds a seat once held by his grandfather, of course, Leon Hannaford, whose legacy introducing a 1962 bill to tighten residency requirements for college students, which a local paper at the time reported would have kept Negro James Meredith from filing suit to enter the University of Mississippi. That's the stock he comes from. The legislator has insisted that HB 1020, by adding unelected judges to Hinds County Court, will help clear up lengthy case backlogs, while an expanded Capitol Police Force will address a spike in crime in Jacksonville. Oh, so now it's crime here in Jacksonville and, in Chicago, this, and it's always black areas. But when you really look at the statistics of crime, neither of these places are at the top. That's the crazy part. This has nothing to do with crime. They are always trying to do these dog whistles and throw stuff out there like that when they want to do some nefarious shit. Just do your nefarious shit. It's in you to do this. I don't know who expects anything less. But you have people whining and fucking crying about, oh, we're past this. It's post-racial. Biden and Kamala, there's no racism. Nothing's going on. And then this comes up and everybody's fucking quiet. You can hear a pin drop. You can hear a mouse sneeze in this bitch. They're so quiet. But you have stuff like this happening. I don't want to hear your tears. I didn't say all. Collectively, they are who their great, great, great forefathers knew they would be. Now, it also goes on to say that black representatives were trying to fight this. Obviously, that didn't work. They were begging and pleading for people to see what this actually is. They knew what it was. They're good. They're good with it. They want to discriminate. They've been setting up here talking about the good old days on the plantation. They would like to buy a slave. They said to somebody, a man, that this was a white woman said to a black guy that, he looked so good she would buy him to save him. This has been going on for a while. They fantasize about antebellum chattel slavery. They would love to go back to that. And like I said, they're no different than their forefathers. Their forefathers did all they did to continue on this legacy, and they have picked it up and they're going to run with it. I don't know who bought into this we're equal. Oh, it's just a few bad apples in the bunch. Yeah, right. You finna find out real quick, real quick, how they really feel about your black ass. This is the hypocrisy that I was speaking of. This is why I will never take it seriously that they feel like Uganda is wrong and they need to respect people's rights when they're doing Jim Crow 2.0 right here. None of it ever stopped. It's just done in a different way. They'll throw your application if they think you're black. They'll say these crazy things in corporate America, like they can't talk to you like you're a human being, and they have to bring up something about your blackness when they're the ones always screaming, talking about why does everything have to be about race, and they make everything about race. I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. Let me know what you think about this situation in Uganda and with the gold. Do you think it's about gold? Do you actually think it's about LGBT rights? And do you see the hypocrisy between the law that was passed in Mississippi that's going to float to Texas? It's going to be in Tennessee. It's coming to Indiana. It's going to hit every red state. They're going to get together and they're going to get this done, because this upcoming presidential election, by any means necessary, they're going to get Trump in there. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.